You've been doing DevOps for 2, 3, maybe 4 years now. You know how to write pipelines, you know how to spin up infrastructure, you know Terraform, Docker, Kubernetes. You've shipped real things to real production environments. But lately, something feels different. Job posts that used to say DevOps engineer now say platform engineer. People at work are training around words you haven't heard before, and everyone acts like they already know what it means. But in the back of your head, you're asking, am I behind? Do I need to learn something new? Or is this just the same job with a new name? I'm going to give you the real answer today. Not the stuff people say to sound smart, the actual answer. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand, whether your skills are still valuable, and what to do next. So stay with me. Real quick, my name is Henry. I spent the last several years building infrastructure, running pipelines, and working on AI systems for different businesses. I also just finished my master's degree, researching how the systems work together at a deeper level. And I want to give you the kind of honest answer I wish someone had given me earlier in my career. Let's get into it. In the last 2 years, something shifted in how companies build and run software. Companies got bigger, the engineering teams got bigger, and a problem showed up. Developers were spending time fighting their own tools than actually building things. Every team had its own way of doing deployments, every team had its own way of setting up environments. Nobody could agree on anything. Things broke in weird ways and nobody knew why. So companies started asking, what if we build one team whose only job is to make it easy for all the other teams to ship software? What if we gave developers a simple system so they spend less time on setup and spend more time on their actual work? That team is the platform team, and the people who build that internal system, that is platform engineering. Now here's the thing, that description probably sounds familiar because it sounds a lot like what a good DevOps team already does. And you're right, that is not an accident, but this is where it gets interesting. Let's start with what actually changed and what didn't. DevOps is a way of thinking. It is a culture. It says developers and operations teams should work together and not fight each other. That idea did not go anywhere. It is still true and it will always be true. For many larger companies, platform engineering is one way they have learned to scale that idea. When a team gets big enough, you need a dedicated group whose whole job is building the system that help everyone else work better. Think of it this way. Imagine you're working at a small restaurant. There are 5 people. Everyone does everything. You have someone that cooks, you have someone that serves, you have someone that cleans, right? That works fine when you're small. Now imagine that restaurant grows to 50 locations. You can't have every person do everything anymore. You need a kitchen supply team. You need a system. You need people whose jobs are dedicated to making sure that every location has everything it needs to run well. That is what happened to most companies with engineering teams. DevOps was a small restaurant model. Everyone shared responsibility. Platform engineering is a supply chain model. One team builds a system that helps everyone else work better. So it's safe to say they took away the operational headaches of DevOps. And while we're here, you've probably heard of SRE too. That's Site Reliability Engineering. Here's the simple version. If DevOps is the culture and platform engineering builds the internal systems, SRE focuses on making sure that the entire system stays reliable and doesn't fall over. They're all part of the same picture. So is platform engineering replacing DevOps? No, it is one way that the industry has grown up, or you can say it is one way that the industry has evolved. Your DevOps skills are the foundation. Platform engineering is what gets built on top. But here's what that means for you, and this is the part that I want you to pay attention to. The skills change, the mindset changes, and if you don't know what is changing, you keep doing the old job while the industry moves to the new one. Let me show you exactly what I mean. If this is making sense to you so far, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps other engineers find this video, and it is the free way to support this channel. I'm new to YouTube, and your feedback genuinely helps me make better content for you. Alright, let's keep it going. In a DevOps role, your primary focus is production reliability and delivery. You're making sure the application stays up, you're writing pipelines, you're managing infrastructure, and you're fighting fires. You're the person who gets paged on a Friday evening if deployment breaks. In a platform engineering role, your customer is the developer that is sitting next to you. Your job is to build tools and systems that make their life easier. You're not just running infrastructure, you're building a product on top of infrastructure. That word product, that is the key word. The best platform engineers, they borrow product management thinking. They ask, what do developers need? What slows them down? How do we make the system so simple that any developer can deploy their own applications without calling anyone? That is a different way of thinking, and with the data out there, it pays more. In major tech hubs and product-first companies, platform roles are commanding anywhere from 15 to 30% more than traditional DevOps roles. Why? Because you're being paid for product management thinking and not just technical execution. Here's what a platform engineer actually builds day to day. They build internal developer portals, one place where developers go to deploy applications, see their services, and get what they need without asking anyone. Think of it like an app store, but for your own company's tools. They build golden paths, and when I say golden paths, that just means a standard approved way of doing common things. This could be spinning up a new service, or maybe setting up monitoring. So instead of every team doing it differently, everyone follows the same path. They also build self-service systems. Developers can create environments, run tests, and deploy their codes without waiting on the operations team. That waiting used to be the bottleneck, but platform engineering removes it. And it goes even deeper than that. As companies spin up AI agents to help write and deploy code, platform engineers are now the ones building the systems those AI agents interact with. We're not just building platforms for human developers anymore. We're building the infrastructure that allows AI agents to work safely without blowing up the cloud budget. That's a brand new problem, and right now, not many people know how to solve it. Now look at that list. Pipelines, infrastructure, monitoring, environment, deployment. You've done all of that. Every DevOps engineer has. The platform engineering version is the same work but organized differently, with developers as your customers instead of production as your focus. That is not a reason to panic, but that is a reason to pay attention. At this point, you might be asking, what should you actually do? Here's where I give you the verdict, the actual answer. If you are a mid-level DevOps engineer right now, you are not behind, but you are at a fork in the road. And the engineers who see this fork clearly are the ones who will get the better jobs, the higher pay, and the interesting work over the next 5 years. Here's the fork. This is the first part. You keep doing DevOps exactly how you've been doing it. You get better at pipelines, you go deeper with Kubernetes, you become the best firefighter on your team. Don't get me wrong, this is a good part. Companies will always need this. But more of the routine work on this part is getting automated and standardized. The engineers who stay here will need to keep going deeper to stay ahead of the tools that are replacing the basics. The second part, you start thinking like a platform engineer. You don't throw away your DevOps skills. Those are your foundation. But you add one thing on top. You start thinking about developers as your customers. You ask what slows them down. And then you build the systems that remove those slowdowns. You treat your infrastructure like a product and not just a service. This part is harder in the short term. It requires a different kind of thinking. But the ceiling on this part is much higher. And right now, there are not enough people who can do it well. So what do you do next? I'll give you 3 simple things. Number 1, learn what an internal developer platform is and why companies build them. You don't need to build one tomorrow. You just need to understand the problem that it solves. Look up Backstage by Spotify. Spend 1 hour learning about it. But be careful. Do not confuse a portal with a platform. A pretty user interface will not save a broken back end. Focus on the APIs and the automation first. That is where the real value is. Number 2, on your next project, ask one new question before you start. Not how do I build this? Ask what problem does this solve for the developer that has to use it. That one question changes everything about how you approach the work. Number 3, update how you talk about your experience. If you've built pipelines that helped developers ship faster, that is platform thinking. If you built monitoring that helped teams catch problems before the users did, that is platform thinking. You've probably already been doing the work. Start calling it what it is. And thinking about it now, you don't need a new job to become a platform engineer. You need a new lens. Remember at the start of this video, I said you've been quietly wondering, am I behind? Do I need to learn something new? Is this just the same job with a new name? Now here's your answer. You are not behind, but the job is changing, and now you know exactly how. Platform engineering is not replacing DevOps. It is one way the industry has evolved, and your skills are exactly the right foundation for it. The engineers who will win over the next 5 years are the ones who will start building for developers and not just for production. That is the shift. It is not a big one, but it's the right one. Now before you go, I want to ask you something. If platform engineering is not replacing DevOps, why are companies hiring more DevOps engineers now than ever before? The demand is actually going up, and the reason will surprise you. That is what this next video is about. So drop a comment and tell me if you're staying DevOps or if you're going to make the switch. And if you don't want to miss the next one, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you there.